Olivia Ivy had never seen the executive floor so quiet. Every December, Vale Corporation transformed into a place buzzing with tinsel decor, overworked employees, and the faint smell of cinnamon lattes. But tonight, Christmas Eve, it was a silent glass-walled palace. The city glittered below like a spilled bag of jewels, but up here, everything felt too cold, too still. She tightened her grip on the reports she had just compiled. Assistant to Andrew Leo Vale, the most emotionally distant CEO on the East Coast, was not a job for the faint-hearted. Her friends joked that she was basically a glorified robot wrangler. But tonight, the robot was off. Andrew's office light was still on. It was past 11 p.m. Olivia's heels clicked across the marble as she approached the frosted glass door. She hesitated. He hated interruptions, breath, noise, existence, but finally knocked. "Come in." His voice was low, clipped, exhausted. She stepped in, and there he was. Andrew Leo Vale, dark suit jacket off, sleeves rolled up, tie loosened, hair slightly unruly from running his hands through it too many times. For a moment, he didn't look like a man known for freezing boardrooms with a single glare. He looked cornered. "Sir, I finished Olivia." The way he said her name stopped her cold. Andrew never used first names. Ever. He leaned back in his chair, exhaling through clenched teeth. His gray eyes, sharp like winter frost, lifted and locked onto hers. "Sit." She sat slowly, every nerve in her body on alert. Andrew folded his hands on the desk. "I have a proposition for you." That sentence alone made her pulse spike. Propositions from men like him did not involve anything normal. "Tomorrow, my family expects me at Vale Mansion for our annual Christmas gathering. I am required to bring my wife." Olivia blinked. "Your wife?" "I don't have one." His tone was dry, almost irritated by the fact. "Then why do they think—" "My grandmother," he said stiffly, "took liberties with the truth. She told the entire family that I secretly married, without telling anyone. She expects to finally meet my wife this year." Olivia stared. "Sir, what?" Andrew inhaled slowly, like the next words pained him. "I need someone to accompany me. Just 4 days, December 24th through 27th. His gaze sharpened. "To pretend to be my wife." Olivia froze. This was not happening. It couldn't be happening. But Andrew leaned forward, elbows on the desk, eyes steady and unyielding, the way he spoke when he'd already made his mind and nothing in the universe could move him. "You would be compensated generously." "How generously?" she asked quietly. He named a number. Her breath vanished. It was astronomical, impossible, ridiculous. It was also enough to pay off her aunt's mortgage, the home she was at risk of losing by New Year's. Her throat tightened. I don't understand. Why me?" "You are competent, discreet. You don't fluster easily. My family will not intimidate you." "You intimidate me," she thought, but kept it to herself. "And you," he added, "are the only person I trust to follow instructions exactly." The compliment, if it was one, landed strangely warm in her chest. "But, sir, pretending to be your wife isn't exactly a small task." "I know." "What exactly would be expected of me?" He slid a contract across the desk. A thick one, bound. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Rules, clauses, schedules. and then one line that stood out like a live wire. Clause 17. The assistant must not develop romantic feelings toward the client during or after the duration of the engagement. Violation of this clause will result in immediate termination and financial penalty. She reread it, and again. Andrew watched her, unreadable. "This is," she whispered, "a condition?" "A necessary one." "Why?" "Because emotions complicate everything, and this arrangement must remain controlled." Olivia swallowed hard. She wasn't planning to fall for him, God no. The man barely blinked like a human. He might actually be made of ice. But the clause felt like a knife held at her throat. "Your family won't be suspicious?" "They are suspicious by nature," he said flatly. "That clause sounds like dangerous territory." "It is. My family is not easy. You will be tested, manipulated, observed. They will try to break the facade. That is how they operate." Her stomach knotted. "And," Andrew added, voice lowering, "they hate when I disobey expectations." "Is that why this feels so urgent for you?" she asked before she could stop herself. His jaw clenched. "They control everything. They use tradition as a leash. I need this one thing to go my way, just once." Olivia's chest tightened unexpectedly. He sounded human, tired, lonely. She looked down at the contract, at the number, at clause 17 burning a hole through her. 4 days of lies, 4 days in a mansion full of hostility, 4 days pretending to be married to a man who didn't believe in warmth, affection, or emotional entanglement. 4 days that could save her aunt's home. "I'll do it," she whispered. Andrew's shoulders lowered, the smallest sign of relief. "Then we leave at 6 a.m. sharp." He stood and extended his hand. Olivia hesitated, then placed her hand in his. His palm was warm, too warm. The handshake lasted 1 second longer than it should have, a dangerous second. His voice dropped to a murmur. "For the next 4 days, Olivia, you are mine." A chill ran down her spine, thrilling, terrifying, electric. She didn't realize what she truly agreed to. Not yet. But by the time they reached the Vale Mansion, she would.
Olivia barely slept. Her suitcase sat half open on her bedroom floor, clothes spilling out as she tried to remember everything a pretend billionaire's wife should pack. She had no idea what kind of clothes women wore in mansions the size of kingdoms, so she stuck to her 2 decent dresses, a wool coat, and the warmest boots she owned. When the black car stopped outside her apartment at 5:55 a.m., her stomach plunged. Andrew Leo Vale was already inside. The tinted window rolled down just enough for her to see the stern silhouette of his jaw. "You're late," he said. "It's still 5:55, she whispered. 5 minutes early is on time. She gave a nervous smile. He didn't return it. The moment she slid into the leather seat, she felt the air change. Andrew looked different today, sharper, colder, a man bracing himself for battle. "We'll go over the cover story," he said, handing her a sleek black folder. She opened it. Vale's questions and expected answers. Couple history timeline. Pet names list optional. Family members and weak points. Things to never say. Her eyebrows climbed higher and higher. "You made this." "I prepared it." "This is like a spy operation." He didn't deny it. Olivia flipped to a page titled Public Displays of Affection and nearly choked. "You expect us to kiss?" he said, eyes straight ahead. "If required, the family will watch for inconsistencies." Her heart hammered. We don't have to practice, right?" His jaw tightened just a fraction. "No." Silence filled the car. Thick, electric, unbearable. Hours later, the snow-covered landscape thinned into a long, winding road lined with ancient trees. At the end stood Vale Mansion, more fortress than home. White pillars, iron gates, windows like watchful eyes. Olivia inhaled sharply. "It's huge." "It's a trap," Andrew muttered. Before she could ask what he meant, the front doors burst open. A woman stepped out, elegant, dressed in a winter white coat, pearls gleaming at her throat. Her hair was a polished silver, swept into a perfect chignon. Vivian Vale, Andrew's mother. She looked at Olivia like a stain on silk. "Andrew," she said coolly, "you're late." "It's 9 a.m., he replied. "Exactly." Her gaze slid to Olivia. "You must be the wife." She didn't hide her suspicion. Olivia forced a smile and extended her hand. "It's lovely to meet you, Mrs. Vale." She didn't take her hand. She just stared. Assessing, analyzing, calculating. Then she turned around. "Let's hope you behave better than the last girl he brought." Andrew stiffened. Olivia glanced at him. His eyes were locked forward, expression wiped clean, but a storm flickered beneath the surface. Inside, the mansion was breathtaking. Golden chandeliers, velvet staircases, polished marble floors. But it felt cold. Not in temperature, in spirit. Servants moved quietly, eyes lowered. Portraits of stern ancestors watched from the walls. Every corner whispered, "Don't step out of line." A tall man with steel-gray hair appeared next. Arthur Vale, Andrew's father. His presence radiated power. A businessman carved out of granite. "So, this is the woman you hid from us?" Olivia swallowed. "Yes, sir." "Why?" The single word hit like a whip. She almost faltered, but Andrew stepped closer to her, placing a firm hand at her waist. Protective? Possessive? Or maybe just strategic? "Because my marriage is not a business transaction, and I prefer my private life to remain private." His father stared at him like he was an inconvenience. "Well, privacy is unnecessary in this family. If she is one of us, then she is ours." Andrew's grip on her waist tightened slightly. Vivian's gaze flicked down to where Andrew held her, a smirk forming. "How touching," she said with venom-laced sweetness. "Perhaps he finally chose a woman who can tolerate him." A flush rose to her cheeks. Andrew's voice was ice. "That's enough." Vivian raised a brow. "Oh, now you defend her?" "Watch your tone," he said, jaw clenched. The room froze. The servant stilled. Arthur's eyes narrowed. Olivia felt like she was watching a landmine being stepped on in slow motion. "Let's not cause a scene," Arthur said. "Dinner is in an hour. Be presentable." Just like that, the parents walked away, leaving Olivia and Andrew alone in the grand foyer. Her pulse raced. "This is more intense than I expected." "This is mild. Just wait for my grandmother's interrogation." "Oh, God." "You'll be fine." She blinked up at him. That sounded almost like reassurance. His eyes softened, for a single second, barely noticeable, then gone.
You signed the contract. Now you must play the role." She nodded, trying to steady herself. "And, Andrew," he looked at her, "I'm not planning to break Clause 17. You don't have to worry." Something flickered in his eyes, something unreadable. Strange, and expectedly sharp. "Good," he said quietly. But the way he looked at her lingered. Too long, too intense, almost like he wasn't sure he couldn't honor that clause either. Before she could decipher it, a voice echoed down the hallway. "Andrew, bring your little wife to me." Andrew closed his eyes. "That," he muttered, "is my grandmother." Olivia swallowed. Time to face the real threat. A dangerous performance. Olivia had barely taken 10 steps before a small, fierce figure appeared at the top of the staircase. Grandmother Eleanor Vale, 83 years old, tiny as a sparrow, sharp as a blade. Wrapped in a red velvet shawl, she descended the stairs with the dignity of a queen and the intensity of a drill sergeant. "Andrew," she barked, "bring your wife here before I die of suspense." Andrew inhaled, bracing himself. "Come," he murmured, placing his hand lightly on Olivia's back. The touch sent a spark down her spine. And when Eleanor's eyes landed on Olivia, her whole face lit up, not warmly, but hungrily, like she'd just found a new puzzle to solve. "So," Eleanor said, grabbing Olivia's hands with surprising strength, "this is the girl who convinced my emotionless grandson to get married." She squinted. "Pretty. Nervous. Probably smarter than she looks." Olivia blinked. "Thank you." That wasn't a compliment. Andrew stepped forward. "Grandmother." "Hush," Eleanor waved him away. "I want to hear her speak." Olivia straightened. "Mrs. Vale, it's an honor—" "Oh, don't use that tone. Only politicians and liars speak like that." She leaned closer. "You love my grandson?" Olivia's heart leapt into her throat. This was it, the first real test. She felt Andrew tense beside her. Olivia forced herself to breathe, to stay calm, to channel every Wattpad heroine who had ever lied with grace. "I do," she said softly, "very much." Eleanor's eyes narrowed. "How much?" Olivia swallowed. "Enough to be here, enough to choose him even when he makes it difficult." Andrew's head snapped toward her, just a fraction, but enough that she felt it. Eleanor's mouth curved. "Good answer." She tapped Olivia's cheek. "You might survive us." Then she turned abruptly. "Dinner in 30 minutes. Don't be late. And don't dress boring. We already have Andrew for that." She marched away, muttering about lifeless suits and Vale men needing spice. The moment she disappeared, Olivia exhaled shakily. "That," she whispered, "was terrifying." Andrew rubbed his forehead. "She likes you. That's a problem." "How is that a problem?" "People she likes," he said dryly, "she interrogates more." Olivia groaned. They made their way down a portrait-lined corridor toward the guest wing. Everything in the mansion felt large, heavy, important, and suffocating. Just before they reached the door to their assigned room, Andrew stopped. "Olivia," he said quietly. She turned. He looked conflicted. Earlier he had been cold, controlled. Now something brittle cracked beneath his exterior. "You handled that well. Better than expected." "Thanks, I think. But there's something I didn't tell you." Her stomach sunk. That's never good news. He hesitated. An unfamiliar tension pressed into the space between them. "My family will expect us to share a room." Olivia blinked rapidly. "What?" "A room." "I heard you," she said, voice cracking.
I just hoped I didn't." "You won't have to share a bed," he said quickly. "I'll take the sofa, but we must appear convincing." She stared at him, at the man who made rule books and clauses and cold boundaries. Sharing a room with him. That felt like crossing an invisible line. "I thought we could fake being married without that." His jaw tightened. "My family will look for any flaw. They always do." Olivia looked at the door, then back at him. "Fine," she whispered. "I can handle it." He nodded once. Then, unexpectedly, he opened the door for her. The room was enormous. Soft cream colors, velvet drapes, a fireplace crackling gently, and a king-sized bed that suddenly felt dangerous. Andrew walked past her, setting her suitcase down. "We'll need to rehearse," he said. "Rehearse what?" He looked at her, expression unreadable. "How we act together. Touch, proximity, casual affection." Her throat went dry. "You want us to practice being a couple?" "Yes." He stared at her. "You've done this before." "No," he said instantly. "Never." Something warm flickered through her chest. Unexpected, unwanted. "Okay," she whispered. "Show me." Andrew stepped closer, slowly, carefully, like he was approaching a sleeping tiger. His hand lifted toward her waist, but paused inches away. "May I?" he asked. She nodded, breath hitching. His palm settled on her hip, warm and steady. Her heartbeat stumbled. "This," he said quietly, "is how I would touch my wife." It felt intimate. Too intimate. Then he lifted her left hand, brushing his thumb over her ring finger. She shivered. "And this," he murmured, "is how I would hold her hand at dinner." His voice was low, deep, dangerous. She forced a laugh. "You really think your family will notice if we don't do this perfectly?" "Yes," he said without hesitation. "They notice everything." Their eyes locked. Something unspoken charged the air, something neither of them was ready to acknowledge. A knock shattered the moment. "Dinner in 10, a maid announced. Andrew stepped back instantly, mask sliding over his face. "We should go," he said. "Right," she whispered. As they walked to the dining hall, Olivia forced herself to calm down, to remember the contract, the clause, but the moment Andrew's hand settled lightly on the small of her back as they entered the room, her heart broke its own rule, and every pair of Vale eyes turned to them, watching, measuring, waiting for them to fail.
Olivia had never seen a dining room so large it echoed. A table that could seat 30 people, chandeliers dripping crystal like falling stars, candles flickering in gold holders, servants gliding silently around the edges like shadows. But none of it compared to the Vale family, sitting like royalty at the long polished table. The moment Andrew guided Olivia to her seat, his hand warm on her lower back, the entire room shifted. Conversation slowed. Forks paused midair. Eyes sharpened. Judgment, suspicion, curiosity twisted with amusement, like wolves watching a new creature wander into their territory. Andrew pulled out her chair. A simple gesture, a polite gesture, except it felt gentle, something she didn't expect from him. The softness of it startled her so much she almost missed the dagger-like voice from across the table. "So," a woman in a crimson dress said, "this is the mysterious wife." Olivia recognized her instantly. Amelia Vale, Andrew's cousin. Beautiful, sleek, vicious by reputation. Amelia smirked. "I must say, Andrew, you shocked us all. We thought you'd marry a statue before a human woman." Servants snickered quietly. Vivian hid a satisfied smirk. Andrew's expression didn't change. Olivia felt his knee brush hers beneath the table, subtle, grounding. "Amelia," Andrew said calmly, If you're jealous, you can simply say so. Amelia's eyes flashed, but Olivia nearly choked. Had he just teased someone? In public? Amelia leaned back with a sharp smile. "Oh, sweetheart," she said to Olivia, "you're in for a very interesting life." Olivia smiled sweetly. "I'm already living one." Amelia's expression stiffened. Andrew's lip twitched like he wanted to laugh. The first course arrived. Something delicate, expensive, and impossible to pronounce. Olivia tried to eat quietly, but the entire table watched her like she was a new exhibit. Grandmother Eleanor finally dropped her fork. "Well," she demanded, "tell us the story. How did you two meet?" Olivia froze. Andrew didn't. He said, "We met in the company cafeteria." She blinked. He hadn't told her this part. "We reached for the same pastry. She let go first." He continued smoothly. "To me, it was refreshing." The table stared. "Refreshing?" Arthur Vale repeated like the word offended him. Andrew's hand slid onto Olivia's under the table, warm, reassuring, decisive. The room spun. "I knew from the first week," Andrew continued, "that she would be the woman I married. She challenges me. She doesn't break when pushed. She is loyal." Loyal. It felt like it meant something more when he said it. Arthur looked like he wanted to dissect Olivia on the spot. Vivian leaned in. "Yet we knew nothing of this entire relationship." "You hid it, Andrew." "Because it was mine, not for the family to control." The temperature in the room dropped. Grandmother Eleanor grinned, delighted by the tension. "Ah," she said, "so marriage made you bold." "It made me aware," he corrected. Olivia's heart thumped erratically. This version of Andrew, the protective, sharp, quietly warm one, was dangerously easy to fall for. Too easy. She needed to remember Clause 17. She needed to remember why she was here. She needed to... "Darling," Andrew said suddenly, turning to her, "tell them what you told me the night I proposed." Olivia blinked. She had no script for this. "What I told you?" she whispered. His eyes softened in a way that made the room disappear. "That you would stay with me," he said, his voice lower than the candle's glow, "even when things get difficult." The table stilled. Olivia exhaled shakily. She wasn't just pretending anymore. The emotions swirling inside felt too real. She forced a gentle smile for the audience, but the moment her eyes met Andrew's again, the world blurred. "Yes," she whispered, "I remember." Dinner continued, but the tension didn't ease. Halfway through the main course, Amelia leaned forward with a venom-sweet smile. "So, Olivia, surely Andrew has started his little habits with you?" Olivia frowned. "Habits?" "Oh, you know, the things that make him impossible to live with." Andrew stiffened beside her. "What habits?" Olivia asked carefully. "Oh, come on," Amelia purred. "He shuts people out. He avoids emotions like poison. He throws himself into work. He pushes everyone away. It's honestly impressive you've lasted this long." Olivia felt Andrew's breath hitch. Barely, but she felt it. She reached over and slid her hand into his, firmly, deliberately. Everyone stared. "Actually," Olivia said calmly, "I haven't seen any of those habits." A lie, yes, but maybe not entirely. Andrew looked at her, stunned. "Because," she continued, "when someone finally has a person they trust," her thumb brushed his knuckle, "they don't need to push anymore." Silence. Thick. Shocking. Charged. For the first time, Andrew's cold mask cracked. His eyes softened in a way she'd never seen. Almost vulnerable. Eleanor exhaled loudly. "Well," she announced, "I like her." Arthur scowled. Vivian blared. Amelia's fork snapped in her grip. But Andrew kept staring at Olivia like she'd just rearranged the stars. Dinner ended with tension buzzing in the air. As they walked back down the hallway towards their room, Olivia finally let out a breath. "That was," she started. "Dangerous," Andrew finished. "Did I overdo it?" He stopped walking. "Olivia." he said softly. "You didn't just play a part tonight." Her heart hammered. "I saw you. The way you defended me, the way you held my hand like you meant it." She swallowed. "I was acting." "No," he said, "you weren't." A pulse of heat rippled through her. "Andrew." He stepped closer. Too close. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Are you sure you can keep the contract's clause?" Her breath caught. "I told you, I'm not going to fall." He leaned in just slightly, eyes burning into hers. "Then why can't you look away from me?" Her lips parted, but no words came out. He was close enough she could feel the warmth of his breath, the tension in his shoulders, the quiet storm behind his eyes. Close enough to break every rule. Close enough to break her. Before either of them could move, a voice echoed behind them. "You two look awfully cozy for a fake couple." Olivia's blood froze. They turned. Amelia was standing at the corner, arms crossed, eyes narrowed, smiling like she had just discovered a secret Olivia wasn't sure she could keep hidden anymore. Amelia's smirk was the kind that promised trouble. Olivia instinctively stepped back from Andrew, but he didn't move. His posture stayed firm, protective, unreadable. "Oh, don't stop on my account," Amelia purred. "It was just getting entertaining." Andrew's voice dropped to steel. "What do you want, Amelia?" She tilted her head, eyes glinting. "To see if the rumors are true." Olivia's pulse spiked. "What rumors?" "That you're not really married," Amelia said sweetly. "That this entire thing is a joke, a performance." Andrew's jaw tightened like a vice. "And who started these rumors?" "Oh, you know how the staff talks, how mother gossips, how grandfather listens. Everyone doubts you, Andrew. They always have." Andrew stepped in front of Olivia. "Stay out of it." Amelia laughed. "You really expect us to believe you fell in love? You, the robot of the family?" Andrew's hand clenched at his side. Olivia saw it, felt it, the pain she wasn't supposed to care about. "Enough." "Actually," Olivia said, stepping forward, "I think you're jealous." "Jealous?" Amelia repeated sharply. "You spent the whole dinner watching us, waiting, hoping we'd slip." Olivia tilted her head innocently. "Why? Because you can't stand the idea that someone chose Andrew without your approval?" Andrew's eyes widened just a fraction, but Olivia felt his surprise like a spark. Amelia's cheeks flamed. "You think this is real? You poor naive." "A fake marriage doesn't feel like this," Olivia snapped. "Not the way he looks at me, not the way he touches me, not the way he defends me." Amelia stared at her like she'd been slapped. Before she could respond, Andrew took Olivia's hand. Firmly. Deliberately. "We're done here," he said coldly. He guided Olivia away, his grip protective and possessive all at once. But Olivia's heart hammered for a different reason entirely. She had just admitted out loud that this marriage felt real, and she didn't know how to take it back. The moment their bedroom door closed behind them, Andrew released her hand and exhaled sharply. "That was reckless." "I know. You shouldn't have said all that." "I know." He ran his hand through his hair. something he only did when he was losing control. "You made it sound like we're actually—" He cut himself off, swallowing the rest of the sentence. Olivia's voice softened. "I was protecting you." "You don't need to protect me." "Yes," she said quietly, "I do." His eyes snapped to hers. "Why? Why do you care?" She didn't know how to answer without breaking herself open. "I just—" Her voice shook. "I don't like seeing them hurt you." "Olivia," he said softly, stepping closer, "you're not supposed to care." "I know," she whispered. "Clause 17, he reminded her. "I know." "Then stop looking at me like that." She froze. "Like what?" "Like I matter." Her breath hitched. "Maybe you do." Everything stilled. The air, her heartbeat, his breathing. "Olivia," he said again, but softer now. "Don't." She stepped closer anyway, closer than she had, close enough to feel his heat, his tension, his unraveling control. "Olivia," he whispered. "No." "But it's too late," she said. "I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. I fell—" His lips crashed into hers. Not gentle, not tentative. A kiss like a dam finally breaking. A kiss he had been holding back from the moment she stepped into his life. A kiss filled with everything he wasn't allowed to say. His hands cupped her face, her fingers twisted in his shirt, his breath mixed with hers like they were learning how to breathe together. When he finally pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. "I told myself I wouldn't do this," he whispered. "I promised myself I wouldn't cross that line." "Why?" she breathed. "Because you're the only person I can't afford to lose." Her heart cracked open. "I'm not going anywhere." "You will, when the contract ends." She shook her head. "No." "Yes," his voice trembled. "Because if you stay and something happens, if my family destroy you like they destroy everything I care about, then it's my fault." "Olivia." Andrew took her hand again. "Clause 17 wasn't to protect me," he whispered. "It was to protect you." Her breath stopped. "I thought," she whispered, "you wanted to keep things distant." "I wanted to keep you safe." Her eyes filled with tears. "But I don't want distance," she said. "Not from you." His chest rose and fell sharply. "You're going to ruin me," he said, voice raw. "Then we'll be ruined together." Something broke inside him, and he kissed her again. Softer this time, deeper, desperate, real. Every lie dissolved, every wall fell, every line blurred. They held on to each other like the world outside didn't exist, like the contract had never mattered, like love was the only truth left. Christmas morning. Olivia woke tangled in warm arms. Andrew was still sleeping, his face relaxed, peaceful in a way she had never seen. He looked human, not the CEO, not the controlled machine. Just a man. Her man. His fingers curled around hers, even in sleep. She smiled softly and pressed a kiss to his shoulder. He stirred, eyes blinking open slowly. When he saw her, a soft expression crossed his face.
one no one else had ever witnessed. "Morning," he murmured. "Morning," she whispered back. He touched her cheek, thumb tracing her skin gently. "You know," he said quietly, "once the contract ends today, you're free to leave." Her heart clenched. "And if I don't want to leave?" He inhaled sharply. "What do you want, Olivia?" Her answer came easy. "You." Emotion flickered across his face, raw, unguarded, breathtaking. "And I want you, not as a contract, not as a lie, as my wife." Her breath caught. "Olivia!" "Stay," he whispered. "Choose me." She smiled, tears warming her eyes. "I already did." He pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was the only gift that had ever mattered. And in the quiet glow of Christmas morning, within the cold walls of Vale Mansion, they finally broke the last clause. Not the contracts, the one around their hearts.